Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone had a wonderful as it could be, end of 2020, and here we are in 2021. So in today's video, it is how I have planned my monthly spread for January 2021. Last year was very different. Last year kind of shifted everybody's, well, not everybody, but last year shifted perspectives to things that really do need to be focused on more so than they have in the past. And this year I don't think is going to be any different. However, life still does go on in the midst of all this. We are still in the middle of a pandemic, and we are still trying to educate our children and make sure that everybody has what they need in the process. If you've seen my last monthly spreads, you know I don't like a lot of frill and a lot of fluff. It is very functional for me. In my passion planner, it is a look at everything for the month, appointments, events, reminders, everything that is not financial. That is in a separate planner. And yes, some things will change. For instance, as of right now, my kids' school district is only closed for the first full week of January for remote learning. I guarantee you that will not be the only week they are closed. However, as of now, it is what I know, it is what I have to work with, and we're just going to take it and roll with it. Every month, I try to start by marking out what I know. I know the days that the district is closed, whether they were in person or online. I know when my kids have therapy appointments. I know when we have dentist appointments, and I have my allergy shots, and I know when my kids go in for their well exams and any reevaluations and any IEP evaluations within the district. All of the things that I know for the month, I try to take them all and compile them into one spot. And that is what this is. In 2021, one of my goals, although this is quite ironic in the sound of it, one of my goals is to have better systems in place. Now, I have gotten better at this over the years, but there's always room for improvement. I am not one that likes to do these big overarching goals for the month. I really struggle with it. I know where I want my end picture to be, and I kind of know the steps in between to get there. But inevitably, life always sneaks in. Always, always, always. And my kids are my number one priority. And so sometimes those goals do get pushed off. And it is natural to feel frustrated if my result wasn't the same as somebody else's. And maybe I've been working as hard for as long or even longer. But my path is not their path. So what I mean by having better systems in place are the steps to get me to my end goal or results. So by having some better systems in place throughout 2021, I can see progress a lot easier. This is kind of like when we're paying off debt. The end goal is to be debt-free. And you can see that progress towards being debt-free by how much debt we've paid off. However, our systems, such as budgeting, staying within our realistic budget, all that stuff, paying bills on time, those are better systems. They are the better steps to our end result of being debt-free. So in my 2021 goal, a couple of the things that I want to do in January are to have a low or no spend on planner stuff. I went through and basically purged about half of my Happy Planner books. Just sticker books that, years ago I got caught up in the hype and wanted to buy, and I barely used them. The second thing I want to do is utilize Google Calendar as a time tracking system. Now, where we live, we are very rural. Our internet is the worst. It's like a step up above dial-up for anybody that remembers dial-up internet. So using Google Calendar all the time is not ideal for me. It is why I use paper planners, and my brain just works better using pen and paper. However, Google Calendar does have its place for me. A digital calendar does have its place. I can easily, if I'm on my phone, add in the appointments, or if I'm at the computer, I can add in the appointments. This is not always how it goes though. Sometimes I don't have my phone with me and I do have to write it down pencil to paper, and that's fine. Google Calendar for me is more of appointments and reoccurring tasks. Also their calendar sharing system. For example, our band director for our school district sent out their marching band camp information for August 2021. Well, I put it in Google Calendar because it's only January and it's 8 months in advance, and I'm going to forget it if I write it down somewhere. So I put it in Google Calendar, and I attached our son, who is in marching band, and my husband, his father, on this calendar. So they can also see that, during these times, we can't really schedule anything then because there's band camp going on. So Google Calendar has its place for me. However, what I would like to do is at the end of the day, kind of assess how I did. Did I think that appointment would take maybe half an hour? When you add in, the hour drive time total, an hour and a half of my day is what I've allocated for this appointment, when in reality, instead of taking a half hour, it really took almost 90 minutes. That kind of thing is what I'm really looking at. That way, when I go back through and I see I didn't get as far on this project, I didn't get as many of these things done that I wanted to, I can see, well, you thought you had this much time going into the week, but reality, life happened, reality hit. You didn't have as much time this week for this project as you thought. I would like to utilize Google Calendar as a time tracking system, but after the fact. How did my day go? This is not going to be down to the minute. This is just going to be hey, were you really goofing off between 2 and 3 o'clock today because you can't figure out what you did, or were you being productive? And then finally, I would like to utilize Trello for project progress. This is very hard for me because our district is kind of remote on a whim right now. They're trying to keep everybody in the building as much as possible because there's a lot of internet issues. However, with remote on a whim, and depending on the type of remote on a whim, it's very easy to get lost on where I am within certain projects. Now, I am not a fan of online things. However, I learned Trello has a desktop option, and so if I modify it on the desktop, it will eventually update with the cloud whenever our gerbil speed internet decides it wants to update. Rather than my brain thinking, hey, you didn't do this step, I'll know within Trello that, yeah, I did do this step, I can move on to this next one now. And so that's where I am as far as how to utilize systems in my life in January. Now, January is still very young, as is 2021, so I don't know how far we will get within this, but we'll get there eventually. So obviously the Passion Planner is still part of my 2021 lineup. However, since November, it has changed in how I am using it. I have started to use this as a record of when my kids are in school and when they are home remotely. Are they home remotely because they are quarantined? Are they home remotely because the district as a whole closed, or that particular building closed? Or are they home remotely because I am extending their remote time? I knew when I purchased the academic in the summer that this is what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be their entire school year all in one. I didn't foresee it going this way, however, it works. Because their schedules vary, and because there are notes in here on certain things, some of the weeks I probably won't be able to show you, or I won't have time to plan them out to show you. However, I will try to continue to do that. Just understand that I am trying to find a way to make planning during remote make sense so that nothing is getting lost through the cracks. And I know that if I am struggling with this, I know that there are other moms out there that are struggling with this too. I will try to continue to upload Plan With Me's in this planner. However, please understand that some weeks it just may not be possible. Some weeks it's crazy, and some weeks, yeah, some weeks there's probably just going to be too much personal information in it. So that's it for this video. I hope you are able to take something away from it. Pretty straightforward setup on our monthly plan. Please wash your hands. Please continue to wear a mask. And I will see you next time. Bye.